I finally broke it. I finally broke my turbo road glide. No, I didn't break my turbo system or my engine, but it's another key component here, or components, that that I guess is the cost of having a lot of power on your motorcycle. And when I say a lot of power, it's an average of 200 horsepower, 200 torque. And I say average because I have a boost controller on this motorcycle. It's the first time I'm ever disclosing that to you guys. But yes, I have a boost controller on this motorcycle, which is why I can go up in northwards of 200 horsepower and torque to the rear wheel. So to the engine, I don't know, but Trask Performance built my engine and they did an awesome job. Over here is John, the owner of J&B Cycleworks, and this is his shop. And so the bike is here because I've been sharing on social media that I'm gonna get a whole new front end because a lot of you guys commented that it looks pretty beat up inside, and I have to agree, it did. But we got a bunch of parts here. We're gonna share that information with you guys here as well. But before that, I wanted John to take it out for a spin because he's familiar with these boosted applications as well. They have a dyno machine here, so they have all of this experience. And as you can see here, we don't have my nice, pretty gold swing arm. It's off. Well, it's off because, I don't know if you want to jump in, John, but he took it for a test drive and you felt...
Took it for a test ride. Bike makes a lot of power and I just felt the bike pulling. Wasn't tracking straight. Felt like there was some unnecessary movement in the chassis, causing the bike to be a little less predictable than we think it should be. So brought it in, jacked it up, and grabbed the rear wheel, and we could probably move the wheel about a half an inch side to side with everything bolted up. So way
So total of 3 inches in, inch to inch.
Well, probably about an inch and a half total.
Okay,
or
but it's
half an inch total.
It's still a lot.
It's a lot for a swing arm to do that, considering that's what's putting the power to the ground and keeping the bike going in a straight line.
Yeah, and so there's also the chain, right? So let's just cover what, after they took it off, so John calls me, he FaceTimes me, hey dude, you got an issue on your bike. I'm on a self-imposed deadline. Today is, what's today, Tuesday? Today is Tuesday. I'm gonna take this bike over to Blockheads and Cruise the Originals Builder Bike Off in Austin, so I'll see you guys there. So I'm trying to get this done so I can take it there, of course with the front end, but obviously that's gonna be a whole other video now. But now we're gonna cover what actually broke. They brought it in, they took everything off, they did it super fast in I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. So now I'll leave it to the expert to talk about what I broke. And apparently I'm kind of proud here. I'm kind of proud that I broke this, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty impressed myself. What we ended up having was a bearing and swing arm failure. The swing arm itself inside where the bearing is actually seated, I know you can't see it, but the swing arm itself is extremely gouged and grooved and just kind of really beat up. Upon further inspection, once we got the bearings out themselves, I'm even more impressed because both swing arm bearings, the outer race is actually broken. We've seen a lot of bearing failures, wheel bearings and such, swing arm bearings, but we've never seen an outer race of a bearing actually crack in half.
Now what would cause that to break?
We're gonna
Since
call
you've never seen it.
I'm gonna call it lots of miles, probably some spirited riding, and you know, north of 200 horsepower on average. Definitely kind of beat stuff up. What we refer to this as an offering to the gods of speed. The more power and the faster you go, the more stuff you are going to break.
Yeah, no, it's...
And this is the proof of that.
Yeah. So, it's the first time you've seen this broken, right?
Yes, first time.
And how long have you been in the game?
Been doing this since about 2009 for a paycheck.
Okay, so what are we at?
Creeping up on 15 years, about 15 years.
And this is the first time you see this?
First time I've seen a swing arm bearing break in half.
So,
almost break in half.
Oh, man, that would have been horrible on the road. But good thing you found it. You found it.
Absolutely.
Now, John asked me, he's like, bro, how come you didn't feel this? I'm like, I did feel it like on the way here, but honestly, I'm just, I'm just slow. I mean, I'm just go faster kind of guy. And I guess when you build up the speed, it just goes with it. But my motor mounts they probably need to get replaced or not around.
Motor mounts are a little sacked out. Yeah. Once you start getting movement in the chassis in one spot, it's going to start putting more movement in the rest of the chassis. So
Yeah.
these Harleys are great bikes, but they are one of the few bikes that have rubber mounted motors.
Yeah.
And once things start to go to crap, the rubber motor mounts really start to take a beating, and that's kind of what we're seeing here as well.
Besides that, when you took it for a spin, what would be your assessment of like rowdy factor?
I personally have a turboed Dyna, nothing like this. It's a stock 96-inch on 7 pounds of boost, and it runs really good for a quote-unquote stock Harley. This bike, with my metric motorcycle background, is fast. It's very fast. I've ridden 200 plus horsepower Hayabusas, which there's a huge weight factor there, but for a Harley Davidson, this thing is rowdy.
Yeah, you got to respect the throttle. I always say that on my channel. You got to respect the throttle.
Absolutely, especially colder temperatures, colder tires. This thing would get sideways quick, fast, and in a hurry.
All right, so now, the chain. We forgot to tell them the chain. So apparently, there's missing, what you say, links?
So the chain itself is fully intact, except every chain, it's a roller chain. So you have pins and rollers, and that is why we maintain chains so much. Clean, lube, and adjust constantly, constantly, constantly. And over time, wear, tear, lots of miles, and additional horsepower, the rollers themselves have actually disappeared off quite a few of the links themselves. So that creates very tight spots and very loose spots, and weakens the chain a lot.
Now, is that something you see normally?
We do see it. Obviously, Harleys mostly are not chain drive, but on our sport bike side of things, guys that have a lot of miles on their chain and sprockets, ride really, really hard, lots of clutch ups and things like that, then we will see chains start to separate and stuff. So we really just kind of hound people on chain maintenance here. And in doing so with your chain maintenance, you're more in tune with what the bike is doing, what the bike needs. So the more you're maintaining it, the closer eye you're keeping on stuff, the safer you are going down the road.
It's missing, like, he stopped counting at 12.
Yes,
he stopped counting at 12.
12 rollers missing in maybe 1.5 foot of chain.
Yeah. Again, guys, when I first started this channel, it was with this motorcycle, and I told you all years ago that I was going to share everything with you, all of the good stuff and the bad stuff. I don't know if this necessarily falls into the bad area, but it definitely falls into my riding style and into the cost and maintenance of having this much horsepower, 200 plus horsepower and torque to the rear wheel, right? And the thing about a boosted application is that the power doesn't dip up and then dip down. At 23, 2500 RPM, this bike here is probably already 170 torque, and then it just creeps up from there and it stays up until they go off the throttle. So it's power the entire way. This is one result of my style of riding with this kind of horsepower and torque. Now, as you've seen on this channel, I've upgraded a lot of pretty much everything on this motorcycle. Now it's the maintenance of all of the power and the riding that I've done on it. And obviously, this chain here, it has these missing, I guess, links or whatever John said. I'm not familiar with that. But this chain here is an EK chain, and this chain probably has, I don't know, 26,000 miles of very hard riding. And of course, I probably should have done a better job of maintaining it, but you know, you get all that power. And maybe because of the all this power and the chain drive kit that transfers the power more to the motorcycle, maybe that's what kind of, you know, led to this. But for those of you wondering about the carbon fiber wheel that I have, or the wheels, they are in excellent shape. They have, I don't know, like 34 plus thousand miles on them, and they're in excellent condition. This is the rear wheel here, and I have no issues with it. I currently have the Shingo 999, but I think I'm gonna change it at some point to the Metro Cruise Tech or Cobras. I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments. But there's no issues with these VSD carbon fiber wheels. Here's the front one here. And no issues at all. for today's video. The bike's back on together. You want to run them through what we did? Was the swing arm?
Real quick, all we did was we put a stock swing arm back on the bike that we had in stock. As of right now, everything's still loose. We don't have proper axle or axle adjusters, but Mr. Crew here obviously has Kraus parts at the house. We'll do that again tomorrow. And get a new chain on it. Don't have one here today. Really wanted to get started on the front end tonight, but it's already 8 o'clock. Don't really want to be here till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's an executive decision of not, like you said, so we're gonna call it a day here. We're gonna close out this video. But again, in closing, you know, we have all of this beautiful, reliable horsepower and torque here, and I really put it to the test, but obviously the engine's in the front, you have the drivetrain, and you have back here, I went through that swing arm and the chain and whatever else you found. Bushings, I think? Motor mounts?
Yeah, motor mounts are pretty beat up.
So
he said the sacrifice to the gods of horsepower.
See, there you go. I'm happy you said that. I forgot to say that. But yeah, this is the cost of horsepower. So again, I did break it, but it was in this part, it was the back part, but the carbon fiber wheels are perfectly fine and everything else, because I know, I keep saying that because a lot of people ask me about that. That's probably the second thing a lot of people ask me about besides the turbo engine.
Reliability on those, they're very hard, but VST has done a phenomenal job developing these over the years, and they've gotten less brittle and way more durable.
Yeah, and if I have a problem, he's a dealer, so you're good, all right? But yeah, go to J&B Cycleworks, their Instagram. Go ahead and give it a follow, give them a like. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And until the next video, which will be here pretty soon, is gonna be the front end, right?
The front end, absolutely.
And we'll show you the parts we picked because, well, you rode it. What do you think is gonna happen?
I think the bike is gonna handle like it's on rails compared to before, just due to handlebar positioning.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, love y'all, be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, yeah.
One brake. And I might grab you little mitts in here. And there's the other brake.
Right there.